Okay, sorry guys, I do not know what just happened. Literally, the app just completely shut off, and I'm not really surprised because Mercury's in retrograde and everything. But like, why? Why did we have to do all that? Um, so I apologize for getting disconnected. My bad on that one. Well, it's actually Mercury retrograde's bad on that one. Um, but we were talking about the cards. Hey loves, I'm sorry, so sorry I got disconnected. Mercury's a retrograde, so we're just gonna go with the flow. But we got Death, the Knight of Staffs, and Temperance in reverse. So this is really interesting because when you think about it, right now, while it may seem like it's it's not like we're in Scorpio season by any means, shape, or form. But you remember what I was saying earlier about Pluto energy, rebirth energy, death energy, looking at the retrogrades, looking at the past, recalling back your power, really turning around to take a moment to really look at what's going on. This is what I'm talking about. Okay, so this week you're gonna have a moment where you're really gonna have a hard time, even though you have this Knight of Wands energy, you're gonna have like a little bit of a hard time tempering your emotions and your water energy, how you're processing situations, because of the things that are in retrograde that need to be addressed, that need to be held space for, that you need to really take time to say, okay, you know what, I keep thinking about this keeps being an issue, this keeps being a problem, but I keep blowing it off, I'm not really focusing on it. You're gonna have to take a moment this week where you're going to have to actively decide on, okay, let me take a step back, let me, pull it back and try to balance out these energies. And this really goes into, how are you going to temper yourself? How are you going to temper your emotions? How are you going to heal that? The question then becomes, okay, I understand that you have this issue, but then what are you going to do about it? How are you going to address it? Like, what is the solution? Like, how are you actively nourishing yourself this week? And it's about, it's about looking at your journey as a whole. Cancer season is it's like the second cardinal point of the year, okay? Because Capricorn does not start off the year, okay? That's like almost ending the astrological year. Remember, Aries starts off the astrological year. Cancer is the second point. It goes from Aries being focused on the journey and what's at hand and the choices that we're taking, and then Cancer comes and it says, okay, I need to focus on my emotional state, my emotional consciousness. What am I feeling? What am I holding on to? What do I need? How do I need to be nourished? All of these questions you will have to answer this week, and it's gonna come from a place of you feeling out of control, out of balance, out of like just not right, like not yourself, and really frustrated with why it's not why it's not better, why you can't make it better, why you can't have those moments where you're like, oh, I have days where I'm just straight feeling great. Instead you're like fluctuating, and it's just like it goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down. Sorry, the live got disconnected, so I apologize. Mercury's in retrograde, so we're just going to keep it moving and keep it pushing. But it definitely, the app just straight up shut down, and that's what happened. So yes, but that's what's going on this week energetically for us. And I feel like if you actually take time, look, bottom of the deck, Page of Cups, Four of Swords. If you actually take time to address it, if you actually say, you know what, I'm just gonna pull back, this is a week that you should probably detach from others and just kind of pull back. And it's kind of weird because this week also the moon's gonna be in Leo, so there's a part of you that is gonna have your heart on your sleeves, because that's just how Leo moves through life. They have their heart on their sleeves. They have such a big heart. They love so hard. They want to share that love with others. They want to give that, and just have this open, like, look at how much I love you. Look at how much, like, look at my emotions. Pay attention. And then you're gonna get this week also. You're gonna hit that, Virgo moon, and it's just gonna be like, you need healing. You need to pull it back. You need to reassess. You need to rethink of how you are navigating this, because if you just stay open and give your all away, others might not feel the same way, and they might not reciprocate those feelings, those emotions that you are then giving away. So there's definitely the need to pause, relax, meditate, definitely connect with your ancestors, especially if you want that nourishment. If you're not going to go to the beach to see Yamaya, you might as well talk to your ancestors. You're going to get that nourishment from them, and they're going to be able to assist you in that way that you really, really are craving. Because there is definitely a craving for nourishment. Trust and believe that we're all going to have those moments where we're just like, oh, I'm kind of needy. Like, you're going to feel like a little, like a little kid that just needs their mom, like needs something, you know? And that can be a very frustrating feeling when you're an adult, because you're just like, oh, I should be over those feelings. I should be over those type of things. I should be, you know, more powerful. I should be, you know, better. I should, like, there's a list of things that you should be, right? But at the end of the day, that's not the point. At the end of the day, you still need nourishment throughout your life, and cancer season will always come to remind you of that specifically. So what do we need to know this week? What do we need to know this week? Okay. So we got 4 cards, okay? We have message, we have truth, we have transmute, and we have air. Okay, so what did I say? I like Yamaya, but I don't know how to connect with her. Go to the ocean. Just go to the ocean. She is the ocean, so you just go to the ocean and you talk to her. That's it. If you want to start bawling at the ocean, she loves tears too. She likes comforting. She likes to have those moments with her children, like, because everybody is her children. So she likes to just be like, oh, my child is crying to me. That my child came to me and it's burying their emotions at me, you know, like, so she really she just likes that genuine moment where you're with her and you're just talking to her. What if you're not near the ocean? If you're not near the ocean, that one's a little bit more difficult. Have some sort of a sacred space for her, like whether it be an altar space or whether you have elements of the ocean within your altar space, so like seashells and stuff like that. You can create a space, like an anchor point, where you can also call her energy in. So also be mindful when it comes to the orishas. There is a level of initiation that you have to kind of do, and I say this very lightly because while I am not initiated, I do work with orishas a lot, and they do talk to me a lot, and I do say this often because a lot of people are always very, very much like, oh, if you're not initiated, they're not even gonna talk to you. That's not true. That's not true. And that's also a huge misconception with how they work and what they do and why some people need to be initiated, some people don't need to be initiated. So there is like levels of you just calling in her energy and saying, hey, I would like your help with this. And then there's another level of getting initiated and actually getting an orisha, you know, on your crown, sharing your space all the time, which is completely different than saying, hey, Yamaya, I really would love to connect with you. Can you just come into my space and share a message with me, or tell me something I need to know, or can you just hold space with me for, you know, like 10 minutes or whatnot. But it's not hard to connect to, like, with. She's not hard to connect with at all. I personally, that's my personal opinion. Others might have some issues connecting, but then again, when it comes to the orishas, at the end of the day, they do have a preference on who they talk to, because they do have their children as well. So some people happen to have Oshun, some people have Alegua in their behavior, and they'll be children of Alegua, and you'll just know that they are. Even if they're not initiated, they just they connect very well to their archetype, and that's just who they are. So sometimes you might lean towards a different one. But if Yamaya it's very much like that mother energy. And for me, like when I'm working, like even with in Kemetic spirituality, which is ancient Egyptian spirituality. I work with Aset a lot, and Aset would be the like equal, like if you were trying to say, oh look, this religion has this religion has that, she would be the equal, but they're so different. Like Aset is really spiritually inclined. She is such a witch. Like she is such a bruja. She's a master high priestess. She is just on another level, where Yemaya is very much focused on her children. So while Aset is as well, she does have a different type of work that you can do with her versus Yemaya. Like I wouldn't go to Yemaya for like that type of like spell work when it comes to like you know, like doing anything for my spiritual development and stuff like that. I wouldn't go for her for that, because that's not what she does. And you have to respect what the Orishas do. You have to get comfortable with what they do. If you're gonna go to Yemaya for something, you have to understand that it's gonna come with, I don't want to say consequences, but Yemaya gives to her children, but she also wants you to have children. She also, especially when she makes connections with people in relationships, she will want to nourish you in a way that you're also becoming her in a way, like with that mothering kind of energy. I hope this is making sense. But and that kind of happens with a lot of the Orishas, but Yemaya specifically, she will manifest in the way that if you're asking for like a relationship or healthy one or whatnot, or whatever you're asking for your partner, it will be one that you will have children with. Like you will actually have her energy with lingering throughout your relationship. So you have to be mindful of what it is that the work that you want to do with Yemaya. I hope that makes sense. Let me know if that makes sense to you. So anyway, going back to the cards. So we have message, truth, transmute, and air. Okay, so this is again going into that Mercury being in Cancer situation, and also really focusing on those emotional conscious messages that we're getting, not just from like readers and, you know, spiritual people within the community, but from as well, but really yourself. Your spirit guides are a really big one, because they take up a really they take up a lot of space when they're trying to tell you something, when they're trying to show you something, especially when you're like, oh, I need help, I need a moment, I need somebody to help me, I need whatever it is that you need. They will show up in a way where it's just like, hey, we're trying to give you this nourishment, look over here, look at this person, look at this message, look at, you know, whatever it is. And then when you're receiving that message, it's the truth that ultimately changes your mind, changes your perspective, changes your journey, changes the way you progress later on. It's not just about like, oh, I'm just gonna be stuck on something. The reason why we receive messages at the end of the day, especially with like a Mercury and Cancer transit happening, is ultimately to be able to transmute that into that peaceful energy, because air is supposed to be free flowing, easy, and everywhere. It's supposed to be, it's a very smooth thing, like air. It's not supposed to be smoky, toxic, blocked off, smelling funky. None of that. It's supposed to be crystal clear, smooth. That's what we're trying to achieve this week with this. The message that you receive this week, it's going to leave you to have a clearer mind, a clearer sense of purpose, just a clearer moment where you're not like struggling with the, oh, why isn't this working? Why? No. You will see the truth this week for what it is. So please pay attention to that, because those messages are going to be like out of this world. Let me just answer a question that I saw real quick on here. Hold on. Let me just go back into the chat. Oh, there it is. So any advice for finding your deity? Do you find them, or do they find you? So that is a very complicated question, because some people are born with spirit guides already, and deities and gods and goddesses already that are just passed down through lineage and, you know, family ties. I'm Dominican, so for those who don't know, in DR, I know a lot of people know about Haitian voodoo, but Dominican voodoo is called 21 divisions, or Dominican voodoo. So you do get passed down certain spirits. For me, one of them is Santa Marta, and Isa también, like that's one of mine as well. And I do a lot of work with Archangel Michael, though he does not, I will personally tell you, because I do a lot of angel work, he does not necessarily, you don't have to work with him within the actual religion for him to be worked with, because he's an angel at the end of the day. But I do work with him a lot. I will say the angels are the easiest to work with, just because they're on call, and I've said this before, they're on call. You pray for an angel to come, an angel's gonna come. I 1000% guarantee you. Literally, and this is gonna be in the vlog from Bay's, you know, Burton Mountain experience, but I had to call on Archangel Michael for protection while we were there, because there were some creepy guys that were downstairs. Like we were fine up until we got there. We took a walk by the river, and just we're just walking around, and we kind of just bumped into these random creepy guys, and they gave us a really weird vibe, and so I was like, okay. And we were high at the time, so Babe was just like, oh my god, I'm freaking out, I don't know. And she was like locking the doors, and she was doing all this stuff, and I'm just like, babe, hold on. I went into a meditation, I got my chamalongos, I asked Spirit, are we protected? It said yes, because of course. And then I asked Archangel Michael for protection, and I told Bae that she needed to do the prayer as well. When I tell you Archangel Michael was stationed in our room, like I literally saw him stationed in our room, in the corner, for the remainder of our stay. And then the guys, literally, we woke up, they were gone. We didn't see them after that, like past that point. The angels are on call, I would tell you. They're easiest ones to work with, angels, period. It's not complicated. You don't need to do anything crazy to work with them. They're on call. And if you have any questions like, oh, do you want an altar? Oh, do you want this and that? I've gotten told specifically by even Archangel Gabriel all the time. I'll be like, Archangel Gabriel, do you want me to make you an altar? No, I don't need one. Archangel Gabriel, do you want me to buy this candle for you? I don't need one. Like, the angels are very much like, we're just here to help. This is what we do. This is what the dynamic looks like. Like, this is our job. Like, we do this. This is our life. We do this. So they're on call. It doesn't have to be complicated. You don't have to do anything extreme with the angels. You just have to call on them. It's a lot of prayer. It's mainly prayer, but it doesn't have to be complicated. Okay, so those are the easiest ones to work with. Now, when you start getting into other deities, again, you have to look at your actual like lineage, because you'll get some passed down with, you know, your life. The way your natal chart is set up also can kind of lean towards certain deities that you might work with. For me, I have a very critical Scorpio placement, Pluto placement for me, so I do work a lot with Santa Muerte and death energy itself. It's something that I work with in many levels, so it's really easy for me to just work with her in that regard. So then there's that. There's different ways to be like, okay, let me see who I should lean towards. You can also literally just say a prayer, calling in your guides, calling in who you're supposed to be working with. Why, like, especially if you're curious about working with someone specifically or anything like that. You can also say a prayer and be like, I would love to know who should I work with, and just wait for the sign, wait for you to be put in the position to see why you should work with that person. Santa Clara is also one that I work with a lot, because she is the patron saint of like clarity, and she helps a lot with like depression, mental like issues, any type of like anxiety, all of these things. Like, she's really quick. You light her candle like this, she works like this, oh my god, like this, And she's not one that like I have an altar for at all. I just will light her a candle and be like, Santa Clara, please just help me get through XYZ, or help XYZ get through XYZ. Like there's certain saints and spirits. You don't have to have an altar for all of them. You don't have to hold space for all of them. It's just mainly about understanding what they do and working with them through that. If you want to be super grateful and be like, no, I'm gonna make you an altar because you went hard for me, you gave me that thing that I needed, that like nobody else got me through this, you really helped me heal through this, and you want to hold them in space, that's totally fine with you. They ain't gonna say no. But at the end of the day, working with deities and gods and goddesses, it doesn't have to be complicated. A lot of people make it more complicated than it needs to be made. And I think that's because of the whole initiation aspect of working with certain spirits and deities that I feel like confuses a lot of people into thinking that every single spirit needs to be worked with in that capacity, and that's just not the case at all. It's just really not. It's not the case. So I would say I would do a meditation, to be honest with you. I would definitely call in the angels first and foremost, especially Gabriel, because he's really good at helping you, especially in critical points of your life where you need direction. Gabriel is amazing for putting you towards in the right path. Like he's really good at just like helping you get there, and he'll make it so you'll see where you need to go, you'll see who you need to connect with, you'll see why you needed to be in those rooms. Like he's just really amazing with that. So I would go with Gabriel. If you need healing, Archangel Raphael obviously is bomb. But yeah, there's just work with the angels first. That's my first. I'm gonna read the comments now, but seriously, work with the angels first. Work with the angels first. And yes, you can ask them to show you signs as well. Said offerings or food. I do give, when I cook, usually I'll put some food on my altar for them as well. But I'll give, there's certain, actually the spirits that I do have altars for, they do always have like a food type of offering on there, because I like to just be respectful, and I like to give them a lot of fruit, to be honest, because one, fruit doesn't go rancid really fast, and two, they really love that which has already been, it already came from the earth, and in that capacity it's just like fresh, that type of thing. So I do keep that on the altar. Do you feel like spirits keep us Brujas connected in a way to bring each other peace, love, and power? It's a solidarity thing, soul family thing. I do feel like, deities, you have to understand as well that they do also have their own, they have their own plans as well. They have their own master plans, especially within their own rulership of what it is that they want. Like what I was saying with Yamaya, where she will want to, at the end of the day, she will bring that fertility in with actual birthing of a child and stuff like that. That's not necessarily a bad thing. They do conspire within their own power to make things happen. Whether that be Yamaya having an ancestor come back through that birth stage, that love that was born because she brought you together with XYZ, and now you are in this place where, look, you gave birth, and it happens to be that ancestor that needed to come back during this time, because that ancestor was needed during this time. They do have a way of conspiring for their own benefits as well, because it also falls in their own, they also have an agenda. They do. Like even Oshun, she wants people to really enjoy their lives. She wants people to enjoy themselves, their bodies, sensuality, all of that. She really wants people to get in touch with that. So if you're doing like some self-empowerment spell with Oshun, you best believe that will impact somebody else as well. There is something selfish to what they do, and when you're calling in their power, there is something selfish about it. A lot of the spirits love praise. A lot of them love praise. Saint Expedite loves praise. He loves praise. He loves it when you tell others, Saint Expedite did that thing for me. Granted, Saint Expedite did manifest $2,700 for me overnight last year. So I do have to say that, because he is bomb. I will say that. He is bomb. But he does love praise. He likes it when other people know that what he's capable of doing, because that word of mouth has more people believing in them and working with them and tapping into their energy and tapping into that evolution of, you know, growth, and whether that be together or not. Whether they do help us as a community, I do feel like they do, especially definitely some of the research on Go for sure. I am a hold on. Oh, it went away. Hold on. I didn't see that. I am adopted. Would you give me advice on ancestor work? I actually made a whole video on ancestor work for people who are adopted. Is on my channel. Get to it. It's on there. Yep. I said it in there. There's a whole video on my channel. It was patron voted, I believe, and it's about that topic specifically. And I think it was a really good video, to be honest. Let me pull. So we're gonna pull for 3 more decks. So I'm gonna do the Zodiac Oracle because I want to know which energies are playing the biggest role for this week. So, aw, Pink. Pink is barking. You guys didn't get to see Pink today, but she's in her bed being like a princess. Pink, what are you barking for? Why are you barking? She loves to huff and puff all day. Oh, she might be coming over here. Is Pink gonna say hi? Oh, Pink came to say hi. Hold on. Come here, my baby. Come here. Come here, my baby. My baby. Oh. Say hi to everybody. Say hi. She's literally like our child. Like, she is my child. She definitely feels like my child, and she's just gonna stay there the rest of the time because she's comfortable. So let's see. I'm just gonna, instead of like letting it jump, I'm just gonna pick it. Fire. Fire. I'm not really surprised about that. We have a lot of, I believe Chiron is still in Aries. So we're still in like a very like warlike mindset, in a very action and fuel. I feel like, again, with all the protests that's happening, especially this month, it's gonna be a little bit intense because of the emotional aspect. There is gonna be an emotional connection to how we're feeling. Let me just grab this stack real quick. If Pinky lets me. There we go. Aries. Like I said, Aries. So be very mindful that Chiron is in Aries, because he's a wounded healer, and the way we navigated like Gemini season through Chiron being in Aries and all of those emotions and us getting triggered and being reactive verbally, it was a very verbal time. This month is a little bit more of a emotional time, so it's like fire and water, and those combinations, you either have things getting extinguished or things not burning down no matter how much water you put on the fire. So be very, very mindful of that for this month, because, well, for this week specifically, because it could literally make it so you're trying to get over something, or maybe you got triggered with something this week and you're just not able to really release it because of that fire, of that flame. It's just, it won't go off. No matter what you do, it's just like it won't come down. It won't come down. So be very, very mindful of that. So lastly, we're gonna do the Ascended Masters Oracle cards. What message do we need to know for this week? We have energy healing. Energy healing. And how do you do that? Spiritual baths, Reiki, crystals. Okay, crystals. Crystals are so good and easy to work with. Charged water with crystals, very easy to work with. Working with salt as well. Working with like those type of elements where it's just like when it combines in water, it amplifies it. Energy healing for this week. It's something that I feel like it can be slept through, but it really, especially if you've never gotten your Reiki done or anything like that, and you're just kind of starting into getting into energy healing work, it might seem like oh, how do I do that? But you actually can do Reiki without having the training. You just need to connect to the energy. Reiki is universal healing energy. It's a universal light. It's just coming from your hands, okay? So when you get attuned, you're basically getting like your hands calibrated to fuel the energy. But you can actually do this without having the certification. And that it's all about concentration and intention. You can ask for a divine healing light to be coming out of your hands and then hold it in certain spots. So I usually like to do my heart chakra and then my solar plexus or my sacral chakra, my womb space. Because those two areas are, especially heart chakra and sacral chakra, those are the two areas that like get blocked off, especially for Cancer season, where you might need some extra healing, some extra love. So you're just envisioning that light going through your hands to your chest from both hands where you're placing them, okay? That's a really easy way to do energy healing and Reiki without being trained to do it. Because even Usui, who created Reiki, he discovered it just by going through this very deep meditative state. So it's just about tapping into the energy. You do not need to be certified to do Reiki. I said what I said. It's very controversial, but I said what I said. I have a godfather, and my ancestors, he is family to me, but not blood related. Even if you have, there's some actually guides and like people that you've met in this lifetime that even if they had passed already but they weren't blood related, they can still become a spirit guide. So do not sleep on that one. She said, "Coño." Aw, Pink, you gained some love. She's such a little baby. I'm telling you guys, she's such a baby. Anyway, I love working with Sekhmet. Sekhmet is probably one of my absolute, just or dies. Like I love working with her. She's very bold. She's very direct. She's very gentle too, and she's very empowering. She's really good for strength work. Great during Leo season as well. But she's nurturing, but in a different way. I would work with Set right now more than Sekhmet, just because this is kind of more of Set's energy during this time. So there's that. Anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and sign off. This has been a very beautiful healing circle. I hope that you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new here. Okay, ring the bell so you get notified, because we're about to reach 6,000 subscribers and you should be a part of it. Okay, you just should. Don't forget to check out the Patreon as well, because we're always learning and growing over there. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Say bye to Pink. Say bye. Look at her. She's so cute. I can't say it. She's so cute. Anyway, bye guys. Bye.